Hi guys, it's Shimi from Crafts, Names, and Things. So I'm here today with our first beginner doodle project, okay, which I'm so excited about. So I just have here the doodle notebook that we made here, and I'll put a link to that video in case you didn't see. It is a lengthy one, but it does show you how to make one of these notebooks, and if you want to see that, I'll put a link below. But let's get started. So I'm using a composition book that has graph paper in it. So which I find easiest when you're beginning doodling, okay? But we're going to go super slow. All you're going to need for this project is just a thin, an ultra fine, thin black pen. That's it. I got this from the dollar store. It's Pro Max and it's ultra fine. It's 0.5, 0.5 is the size of the nib. Okay, so that's just what I'm using. You can find lots of great pens at the dollar store. You don't have to spend, you know, $10 for a package or whatever. If you can afford it, fine. But I just want to show you that you can use everyday things to get the same kind of effects. And then here I just have a regular school pencil. Okay. So we're definitely going to use that. And for each of these videos, we're going to do 2 different doodles. Okay, so here on my grafting paper, I've just drew out a 9 square by 9 square by 9 square by 9 square to work in. And it's just, I find that if you start with this, your mind will just work a little better for when you're doing doodles like in your art journals or something like that. You'll just kind of make a grid in your mind already if you work on a grid. So that's why I'm doing this. If you just have a composition book, use that and don't worry about it. Just make rough estimates. You definitely don't need grafting paper. And we're going to go so slow, you can just grab a scratch piece of paper and that's okay. So here I just have a piece of white copy paper that I always keep in my notebook, just so that the ink doesn't leak over. Okay, righty? So let's get started. And at the beginning of every one of these, I'm going to put what kind of doodle this is, okay, if there's a name for it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to divide. We're going to first make a box. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares across, okay? And then you'll do 9 down, and then you'll connect all of them, okay? So I have a 9 by 9 by 9 box, okay? And like I said, this just makes it easier for you to divide your work, okay? So the first one we're going to do is super easy, and I want to start easy so that you don't get intimidated. I mean, doodling does not have to be complicated, and we'll get more and more advanced as we go. Okay, so I'm going to split this one up here into 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to make a line from here to here. Okay, and I am going to go through things step by step. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just like that. So we're going to split that way, and then we're going to make lines that go vertically. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So then I have these 3 by 3 boxes, okay? Alrighty. Okay, so that's our first one. Okay, so I recommend that you do a lot of this work in pencil, just because you can erase the lines and you can adjust if you need to. So definitely get comfortable with your pencil, okay? So the first one is super duper easy, okay? So all we're going to do is we're going to make a line. Starting in this box, we're just going to make a straight line down to that box, okay? So from there to there, okay? Then we're going to make another line this way. So from there to there, and we're going to make a line that way, but we're going to make it go a little bit short. It's not going to line up quite with this one. So see how those are different lengths? And we're going to bring it over. Again, not making sure that it doesn't touch this line here. Okay, and we're going to go down just like that, like so, and we're going to go, and we're just going to kind of make it just like that. Okay, so that's our first doodle. Okay, and actually I'm going to bring you a little bit closer so we can really focus on that box there. Okay, let's get you as close as we can. Ready? Okay. Alrighty, so let's try that again. Okay, so we're going to take our pencil. We're going to start with pencil first. We're going to make a line like that, a vertical line. Okay, and then I'm going to go this way. Good. And I'm going to go up, but I'm going to start a little short of that line there so they're not equal. Okay, and I'm going to go over, and I'm just going to continue making like little squares within squares is what we're doing. Okay, and so that's our first doodle. That's what that looks like. Okay, okay, and we're going to just fill in the rest of these boxes. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Alrighty. And you can make these super duper thin. I'm not going to go all the way like I did. You can kind of change them up as you like, okay? So we can make them very, very slender. You don't have to go in as much. You can kind of bring it out. But let's just play around a little bit. So, okay, there we go. And we can make them super small. So we can start here and kind of stay within that first grid and just make it kind of wide, okay? But let's just kind of practice here, okay? Very good. Okay, so now I can take my pen, okay? Ready? And I can do the same thing. So I can grab this, and I'm just going to go over my pencil lines, okay? And this ink does not bleed, so I can use an eraser right away on it, okay? And it's fine, okay? Let me show you what I mean. So it doesn't smear. See, there's no ink on my finger, okay? None, okay? So right away I can go in with my eraser and erase that, okay? So I just want to show you that you can get the same effects without spending a ton of money on supplies. And I'm actually going to do a course on how to art journal. And we are going to make an art journal with everything from the dollar store. And we're going to have a quote page and everything. And I just can't wait to do that series with you. Okay, so all I'm doing is just going over these. Okay. So I would just keep going all the way down to the end. And I have one that I did here. So that's how that looks after it's all complete. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. And I practiced that before too in my journal. So that's the first one that I ever made. Okay. And you can, and this one I did a lot of detail in, but the boxes are a little bit bigger. Okay. But you see just how well they turn out. It's a really cool effect. Okay, so for our next doodle, which we'll do this box right up here, okay, is very, very easy. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one with my pencils first. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to make a line, okay? And I'm going to make this part of the box bigger than this part. That's the only thing that you need to remember. Now we're going to make semicircles, okay? So let's start here. All right, so I'm just going to just make circles. Very, very free style, okay? I can make some wide, some little, some small, just semicircles basically, okay? Just like that, okay? Right, so now I'm going to go over with pencil. So I'm just going to go right on top of all the lines that I drew, okay? And I can thicken it up if I have to a little bit because I didn't go perfectly on the line, okay? But doodling is so relaxing and it's so great for your brain, okay? And I just love to spend hours just doing it. And just take it slow. Don't rush yourself, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is your own private journal that you don't have to show anyone if you don't like. Now, we're going to get into shading too. So, shading is very important in doodling. Okay, so these look okay, you know, and we could color them in with the black, but they need a little something else, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our pencil, and this is why this is so important. So first I'm just going to erase those pencil lines from before, okay? Okay. And you will need your little eraser. I just have a regular eraser here. And I'm just going to lightly take this pencil and I'm just going to color it in, okay? Just very, very lightly, okay? And as you can see, that already kind of pops it out a little bit, okay? But we're going to kind of stick to the basics in this series, and we'll add more as we go. And once we have 4 doodles, then I'll show you what we're going to do. So stay tuned for next week's one. I'll show you we'll have a little workbook that we work on to kind of incorporate these. Okay. Okay, and we'll talk about strings and all sorts of stuff, but we're just going to start with the basics, okay? And we're going to be learning together, so I'm so happy to have you. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. Now, if I wanted to lighten this up a little bit, I could just take my eraser and just lightly go through, okay? Just to lighten it up a bit, okay? So I'm just very gently going over it with my eraser, okay? Just very, very gently. And just make sure you have an eraser close by, okay? And that's how that one looks. So we have 2 doodles already done. Okay, so I will see you for our next session in beginning doodling. Okay, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.